Okay, in this short video, I'm going to look at comparing an answer to a division sum. So this question was raised by one of our students. They said that when they run this code here, which I've got on the screen, they get that wrong answer, because what's happening is we're asking the user to input, what's one number divided by another number, and we're accepting that input and we're converting it to a float here in this. And then I'm printing out the float formatted. But then in my if statement, if I'm checking my answer to a formatted display, I'm not actually checking the correct answer, because if my answer has two decimal places, my number, the maths number 1 divided by number 2 will be however number of decimal places it needs, but only looks like it's got 2 decimals with the format function. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to run this. Okay, so let's just look at the code. So what's 10 divided by 3? So I'm going to type in 3.33333, okay? Oops. Okay, so it's telling me I need more practice. Okay, so it didn't recognise that as being the correct answer. Now, if I run it again, but run it with a whole load of 3s, I'm quite sure I've got the right number of 3s here. I'll put a whole load in and see what happens. Still, I ran it once, but I got all the 3s in and I got a right answer. Okay, so even though it looks like 3.33, like the two numbers are the same, they're not the same. They're just formatted to look the same. So 3.3333 is different to 3.33. Okay, so I'm going to just run that one more time, and this time I'm going to put in 3.33. Oops, daisy. 3.33. Okay, I'm getting a wrong answer. Okay, so what I've done is I've changed the code. Okay, and I've done this. So again, I'm accepting the number into a float. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the number to 2 decimals, and I'm going to compare that to a round of 2 decimals of the two divisible numbers. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to take number 1, number 2, round that to 2 decimals, and compare that to my answer rounded. Okay, so let's try that. So run. Okay, so what's 10 divided by 3 to 2 decimal places? Okay, so now I'm getting the correct answer. I'm going to run it again with lots of decimals, you can see. Okay, so I'm getting the correct answer again. Okay, now I want to just show you something here that you notice here that I'm not only when I'm rounding it and then converting it to a string. Just to look at how round works. I've told you previously that round changes the number. I just want to just show you a little something here on the screen. So let's say I have a variable called x, which I assign a value, whatever it is, okay? And then I have another variable called y, which I say is the round of x to 2 decimal places. Okay. If I now print x, I have my original number. If I print the round of x to 2 decimals, always remember here to finish off your right number brackets. Okay, so it's rounded it for me. And if I print y, okay, so y, when I rounded x to 2 decimals and store that in y, it stored 3.57. So the round will change the number when assigning it somewhere else. If, however, I round here, if I round x here, and then I do print x, I haven't changed x by using the round function here, okay? It's only when I've assigned x, or assigned a variable to a rounded function, am I changing it to the rounded answer. So this is why I needed the string, because what happened here is when I rounded this, it's still the original number, whatever 10 divided by 3 is with all those decimal places. So I've taken the rounded version and converted to a string. So I'm converting a string of 3.33 to a string of 3.33, which is why I'm getting the right answer. Okay, now notice to do this, I had to ask the user to enter in 2 decimal places. If I entered in 3.3, I would get an incorrect answer, but we can, I suppose that's something you can play with further down the line. You can look at what would you do if the input needed to be 1 decimal, or if you wanted to recognise 1 decimal as being valid. But what you could simply do here is bring that down to a round of 1 and compare it. Or you could look at insisting the user puts on 2 decimals or puts in 1 decimal or however.